So how did I know how to cover my profits quickly before the big dip on my last swing trade? Hey, my name is Jason Byers, and I'm back at it again with another video for Profit Chasers. And I want to break down my last two swing trades and my last actual 4 weeks of swing trading. As a trader, I want to add every single tool to my tool belt that I can. And day trading is something I've been focusing on for the last year or so. And swing trading is something that I've always wanted to get better at, as I know it's very effective and it's very easy once you know the strategy, just like anything you do. And so for the last 4 weeks, I've been able to clear just under $10,000 profit swing trading, and I couldn't be happier. I made $10,000 in a day trading, but nothing fulfills me more than being able to implement a new strategy and be successful at it. So what did I do? This is a swing trade that I took not too long ago. You see, it's only 3 days long, not even, about 2.5 days. And what I saw is I put an order in early morning, and there was a big dip when President Trump got the coronavirus. So I filled my order unknowingly. I was actually just getting out of bed, and about 14:09, which is a great fill, honestly, on this dip, I wrote it out because there was potential merger news. They're merging with Fisker, another EV car company, and so the merger news came out. And what happened? It started to actually die out. It was not as big of a push as I anticipated. And if we zoom in a little bit closer here, had a huge run up, about 7 or 8% run up. I actually wasn't watching my phone. Then I saw this. I saw consolidation, which is a good sign for a day trader when there's a lot of momentum and kind of 3 steps up and 1 step back, a little consolidation phase. I fully expected this thing to rip all the way through the next morning pre-market and into market open. And so what happened actually is it ripped up at 4 a.m. and then kind of sold off, and I saw this big sell-off right here. And that's not a good sign for a great catalyst, especially being a 10% runner the day before. I thought it'd be another 5 to 10% runner the next day. And for it to sell off was a little irrational to me. And so how did I know when to exactly sell? So what happened was I quickly was up over $1,000 profit. Right here I was just around $1,500 profit, a little bit more actually, around $1,700. And around this phase I was about $1,300 profit, but I told myself when I got to that milestone I would not take any less from this trade less than $1,000. And so when it dipped below $1,000 profit, I sold. I covered my profits, and you never go broke by doing that. And what happened? Yeah, it ran up a little bit, but then it flushed down the rest of the day. I would have been down 15, almost $2,000 if I would have held. I'm looking for another re-entry here in the next few days because I do believe, excuse me, the 28th is a merger date, and I fully believe that this thing will run up. I like to see this break 180-day highs of almost $22. Obviously, there's a lot of room to grow from there. But I do see this channel right here and this kind of support line around this 370, 350 area, and a heavy resistance around 1525. So I want to see a little bit more confirmation. I'll add to my position, and then I want to see a clean break through 1525. If I don't, I'll sell like I did that day. Probably a little sooner, just because it's about 25 cents to 50 cents more per share I could have made if I would have sold at the resistance line, but I personally thought that this would run up just like now Helion, but SHLL, Torch Companies. Actually, won't even load. So when the merger came out, this was off speculation, kind of consolidation phase. Merger came out, and we saw a 200% gain. And then kind of consolidation phase, and then after the merger, a kind of sell-off. You see that exact same pattern with SPAQ. Kind of huge news, like there's a potential merger, consolidation. When we finally got that merger date, I was fully anticipating this to be 100, minimum 50% run up to highs of 21. I thought it would rip to about $30 price target. I still believe that in the long run it will, but as of now, I wanted to cover my profits and look for more opportunity. So, what was my last 4 weeks recap? I covered just under $1,000 profit on this trade in just a day and a half. Not a terrible trade. Obviously, I could have made more, but I'm glad I covered profits quickly using my strategy, or else I would have been down quite a bit. I'm starting to really get a hang on my swing trading strategy as I used it in Tesla twice, actually. Used it for the big stock split news, and I made just shy of $4,000 on this trade, and then I saw for it to be a wedge. And when I broke that wedge, I decided it was a great time to sell, and it was actually the day before the news came out of Trump getting the virus, and I saw a quick sell-off. I covered my profits at 440. I thought it was a great time to sell, and I'm sure glad I did. So what is my next move? I'm not quick to jump into another stock. That is a very beginner mistake. The second you sell one stock, throwing all your money into another one quickly because you feel like you have to be into something. As traders, we want to be deal hunters in anything we do. If it's real estate, cars, anything that you want to buy, you want to get a good deal on. And I'm waiting for it to be a good deal. Tomorrow I think is going to be a little rough just because futures are selling off a little bit. And I think there's still a lot more room to sell. And I'm waiting for a better deal. My eyes are still on Tesla, SPAQ, of course. I'm looking for a re-entry around the $14 mark. Other than that, I'm not sure. Apple, the iPhone 12 should be releasing in the next few weeks, so I'm hoping for that to be running up by hopefully December, making new highs. But again, I am looking for a deal. So a beginner mistake is to throw your money into a stock just because you want to always have your money moving, which is great, but it could be moving in a negative direction, and you could just lose as much, if not more, money than the last trade you made. And that is a good beginner mistake to avoid, is to wait for a good deal. As I waited for a good deal on SPAQ, I have that big sell-off right here, and then a big push back up to $15. That's exactly what you want to do, is wait for a good deal, set your limits, set tight stop losses, meaning, okay, I'm at $1,000 plus milestone, I'm not willing to risk less than $1,000. I was up $1,300. I was willing to risk $300 for a potential another $2,000 gain. It failed quickly. I sold. Very easy and simple strategy, yet effective. People turn into bag holders and want $10,000, $20,000 huge gains, and tell you what, base hits are a lot easier to make than these huge gains. So instead of being in the red, I locked up about $1,000 profit, and I couldn't be happier because I thought that was a great time to sell because of the sell-off. As traders, we need to make sure we lock in that profit. So again, quick recap, just shy of $10,000. I do want to show you my next swing trade that I'm actually in right now that I'm up about $4,000 on, but I can't share all my secrets at the moment. But as of Tesla and SPAQ, a combined of just shy of about $7,000 total between the two. I couldn't be happier of starting to implement good, actual healthy strategies to my swing trading. I'm going to keep progressing, keep getting better, and waiting for the next deal. So put in the comments of what you're waiting for a good deal, or maybe that you're in and winning on. And yeah, as a team, just keep locking in that profit.